If you're looking for something to do in Newfoundland in the fall months, I got you covered. I'm in BC right now, and I'm heading back home in about a week. When I get there, we're gonna go on a road trip as far as like Lassie, Burlington, up in Bayford Peninsula. We're gonna go to Fogo Island for a couple of days. We're gonna hit the Eastport Peninsula for a couple of days. A little bit of exploring and seeing what happens around the province in fall. This time last year, like the end of September, beginning of October, we did a tour. We actually drove across the whole province. Some of my favorite places on that trip were Botwood, Corner Brook. Now we were in Corner Brook in Botwood the last couple of days of September. I can't remember the actual date. So fall had started, and you could start to see some of the colors and the leaves changing a little bit, but it was really early. It was just the very beginning of that. Simple fact that it's just not typically as windy in Corner Brook or in Central around Botwood as it is in St. John's. Like as soon as the leaves start to change colors in St. John's, the wind takes them all down. Seems like that's not the case on the West Coast or in Central. So you can actually kind of experience the fall colors on the island of Newfoundland. To start, I wanted to take it all the way over to the West Coast and talk about what you can do in Corner Brook, specifically in the month of October, as long as the weather cooperates. I wanted to specifically talk about the train that goes through the city. The city is really pretty in its own right, but there's, the specific event that you can take part in if you time it right is the train that goes through the city. The weather in Corner Brook this day was kind of crazy, like just moody. It wasn't aggressive or extreme in any way, but there was a big swing in the weather patterns during the time that we were there. So when we made the decision that we're going to find the train schedule and get on the train and go see Corner Brook that way, when we got to the train station, if that's what it can be called, it's not really a station, it's just a stop on the street right across from the big colorful Corner Brook sign. It was a beautiful blue sky, and then the clouds rolled over, and it's kind of like a popcorn shower. We got doused with rain. Then the clouds took off, and then the sky opened up and it was blue again. And then a little while later, the clouds came back over and it was another big rainstorm. But it's still kind of cool to see the city while you're moving, regardless of the weather anyway. And that's Newfoundland for you. You don't know what the weather's going to bring, so you just don't worry too much about it. The train had covers on the window, so it kept us dry, and we still got to experience the ride and hear the train whistles and everything go as we saw the city. It was pretty cool that way. So my understanding is that the train is running through the year, starting in June, and so it will shut down, but they'll run as long as they can. So in the month of October, the idea is to keep the train going, but you're going to have to check the City of Corner Brook website to make sure that the train is still operating on a specific day if you're planning to do this, because it's a little bit hit or miss at this time of year, but it is still operating. Botwood's a pretty small town, central Newfoundland, probably like, 15 minutes off the Trans-Canada Highway if you are heading between Grand Falls and Gander. But Botwood is famous for its murals, and they're really, really impressive. Have you ever been to Botwood, or have you even heard of these murals? This thing in Botwood is actually super impressive. It's not just like, oh, this is pretty good for Newfoundland. This is like really impressive stuff. I don't know what the number is this year because they add to it every year. I believe it's probably about 15 or 16 pieces right now. And they have probably 7 or 8 different artists. And the artists come from all over the world. They get really, really talented people coming in to take part in this exhibition. And like these pieces they're not just like slapped together. They take real care to put together something really special. You can see from the actual footage that I'm showing you, like these are unique, all painted in the individual artist's own style. And these are like serious artists. This is really, really impressive. If you're enjoying this video, please hit that like button, it helps. Just a point of clarification here. I suggested going on the train through Corner Brook. I'm suggesting going to Botwood to explore the mural exhibition. I'm not saying that these are the only things that you can do. I'm only suggesting the train as a single suggestion of something particularly enjoyable that you can do in Corner Brook. But actually, a few months ago, I put up a separate video that's focused on Corner Brook in more detail, so you can see more about the city and what you can do there and that type of thing. When it comes to Botwood, I just don't know as much about the place as I do Corner Brook. I've spent much more time in Corner Brook than Botwood. I basically passed through to see these murals in the past, but that was the extent of my knowledge. So I'm actually just going to pose the question because I'm genuinely curious. If you live in, or if you spend a lot of time in Botwood, what else would you recommend people check out if they were to visit your town? Particularly in the fall, but just in general, I guess. Let me know in the comments, please. Lester's Farm. They're kind of actually right on the border of St. John's and Montpearl. It is pretty popular. It's not a secret. I don't know how long it's been going, like for the pumpkin festival. I know the farm itself has been in operation as Lester's since the 90s, but the pumpkin festival has been going on for a number of years now. And they've actually, to my knowledge, they've added like an adult Fright Fest type of like Halloween event at the farm. I haven't actually gone there myself, but it's something that I noticed online that is available now. Whether it's new or not, I don't know. The pumpkin patch is relatively simple, but you can tell that the people at Lester's Farm really put a lot of effort into it. They have a hay bale tractor ride goes through the farm, and that's pretty fun. Obviously, a billion pumpkins there. If you go with your little kids, you can take a pumpkin with you when you go. And a few different things set up in the patch for kids to enjoy. Obviously, you know, it is definitely a child-focused event. It's also something that I can see being a really nice like date night event or date day event. The corn maze was really impressive. I'm 6'4". I couldn't see over at all. We made our way through no problem, but it was like a genuine corn maze. No kiddie corn maze for sure. It's simple. It's not like they're promising the world with this event, but they put in some real effort. You can see the effort that they put into it. Now, I'm not affiliated with Lester's Farm in any way, or the train in Brook, or the Mural Society in Botwood. I'm not affiliated with them. I just really enjoyed the experiences that they organized and put off. And in the sort of early to mid-autumn, when usually we have some pretty good weather around Newfoundland, you want to get out and take advantage of the calm before the storm, quite figuratively and literally. And these are a couple of ideas that you can do to take advantage. So I'm not affiliated with any of these organizations. I just really enjoyed them, right? When it comes to weather in Newfoundland, you never know what you're going to get day by day, month by month, season by season. But what I've noticed in the last couple of years, at least, the fall of the year is actually like the most predictably decent weather that you can get consistently going from east to west along the Trans-Canada Highway on the island. You can't count on spring for anything. We know winter's going to be tough. Summer's hit or miss, but fall's been consistently good for the last number of years. So there's lots you can do in the fall. These three particular events stood out for me. I'm going to take part in for sure 2 of them again this year. I don't think I'm going to make it to Brook this year in the fall, but I'm going to be in Botwood in a couple of days from now, and Lester's Farm is really close by, so I'll probably hit that up again this year too. But these are the 3 standout events that I wanted to talk about related to fall. Now, summer just passed, but there's another video that you can watch right here that talks about 3 of my favorite summer events. I appreciate you taking the time to watch this video. I'll see you over there next.